There was a time when one empire painted the world map, Britain Empire, so vast that the sun never set on it, from the foggy shores of Britain to the bustling ports of Hong Kong, from the plains of Africa to the vastness of Canada. The British Empire was the largest the world has ever known. It connected continents, sparked innovations, and left a mark on history that is still felt today. But how did a small island nation achieve such global dominance? And what led to its inevitable decline? Join us as we journey through the dramatic rise and fall of the British Empire. Before it ruled the waves, Britain was just a collection of kingdoms on the edge of Europe. Its story as a global power begins with its ships. The age of discovery in the 5th, 10th, and 16th centuries saw European nations racing to explore new lands and trade routes. England, and later Britain, was a key player, driven by a desire for wealth and influence. Adventurers like Sir Francis Drake circumnavigated the globe, challenging the naval supremacy of Spain and Portugal. The establishment of trading companies, most notably the East India Company, laid the groundwork for future expansion. These weren't just businesses. They were powerful entities with their own armies and the authority to govern territories. This unique blend of commerce and conquest, powered by a growing and formidable royal navy, set the stage for an empire. The 17th and 18th centuries saw British expansion explode across the globe. In North America, 13 colonies were established along the Atlantic coast, attracting settlers seeking new opportunities and religious freedom. But the real prize was India. Through a mix of military victories, strategic alliances with local rulers, and the sheer economic might of the East India Company, Britain gradually took control of the entire subcontinent. India became the jewel in the crown of the empire, a source of immense wealth, resources, and manpower. At the same time, Captain James Cook's voyages charted new territories in the Pacific, leading to the colonization of Australia, initially as a penal colony. The empire's reach also extended into Africa, with key trading posts established along the coast, setting the stage for the later Scramble for Africa. Each territory was added for different reasons. Strategy, settlement to put together. They formed a complex and sprawling global network. Just as the empire was expanding, a revolution of a different kind was brewing back home. The Industrial Revolution, beginning in the late 18th century, transformed Britain into the world's first industrial powerhouse. New technologies like the steam engine, the spinning jenny, and the power loom revolutionized manufacturing. Factories sprang up in cities like Manchester and Birmingham, churning out textiles, iron, and coal at an unprecedented rate. This industrial might gave Britain a massive economic advantage. It could produce goods cheaper and faster than anyone else, creating a huge demand for its products across the empire and beyond. The empire, in turn, provided both the raw materials needed for the factories like cotton from India and wool from Australia and the captive markets to sell the finished goods. This symbiotic relationship between industry and empire created a cycle of incredible wealth and power that fueled further expansion and cemented Britain's position as the world's leading economic and military force. At its peak in the early 20th century, the British Empire governed nearly a quarter of the world's population, but the very forces that built it also contained the seeds of its undoing. The First World War was a turning point. While Britain and its empire emerged victorious, the cost was staggering, both in lives and treasure. The war drained Britain's economy and weakened its grip on its colonies. Nationalist movements, which had been simmering for decades in places like India and Ireland, gained momentum. The promise of self-determination, championed by leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, resonated with millions. Then came the Second World War. Britain once again stood against tyranny, but the effort left it financially exhausted and unable to maintain its vast empire. The world had changed. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as the new superpowers, and the age of old European empires was coming to an end. The post-war period saw a rapid and largely peaceful dismantling of the empire. Beginning with the independence of India and Pakistan in 1947, a wave of decolonization swept across the globe. Over the next few decades, dozens of countries in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean gained their independence. This was a complex and often challenging process, but it marked a fundamental shift in the global order. Britain itself had to adapt to a new role, no longer an imperial power, It sought to redefine its place in the world. It focused on strengthening alliances, particularly with the United States, and became a founding member of NATO. Instead of an empire, it fostered the Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary association of independent states, most of which were former British colonies, linked by shared history, language, and values. This transition from empire to global partner was a profound transformation for a nation accustomed to ruling the world. So, what is the legacy of the British Empire today? It's all around us. The English language is a global language of business, science, and the internet. Legal and political systems in many countries, from Canada to Australia, are based on the British model. Sports like cricket and football are played worldwide, but the legacy is also deeply controversial. The empire brought infrastructure, education, and a certain kind of order to some places, but it also brought exploitation, conflict, and the suppression of local cultures. The lines drawn on maps during the colonial era continued to cause political instability in parts of Africa and the Middle East. Understanding the British Empire means grappling with these contradictions, its incredible achievements, alongside its profound injustices. The sun may have finally set on the empire, but its shadow, for better and for worse, continues to shape our modern world. Thank you so much for watching. We've only scratched the surface of this massive topic, so if you found this interesting, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into history. We'll see you in the next video.